Hello and welcome to the Every Brain is Different podcast. I'm Samantha Foote here with your Friday Five. And today we are talking about a resource for those who have a neurodivergent diagnosis, and that is music therapy. Obviously, music therapy is one of my favorite things to talk about. I've been a board certified music therapist for 14 years. And what is music therapy, though? Music therapy is using music to accomplish non-musical goals by a credentialed professional. In order to be a board certified music therapist, you have to complete a degree in music therapy, so a bachelor's or master's degree, then complete an internship, and then pass a board certification test. After that, you have to complete 100 continuing education credits every 5 years, and that is how you become a board certified music therapist. If your therapist is not board certified, they are not doing appropriate music therapy. I just want that to be clear. So, music therapy addresses non-musical goals. We address goals in the areas of improving sensory processing, communication, motor, cognitive, social, and emotional regulation skills. I'm specifically talking about music therapy with neurodivergent children and adults, but music therapists work in hospitals, they work in prisons, they work in schools, they work in hospice facilities, they work in retirement facilities with dementia and Alzheimer's patients. They are all over. And then some music therapists just work with the public to increase wellness. So, the next thing we're going to talk about is some common misunderstandings. The first one is that music therapy is not interactive. I hear this all the time, that people think that we just sit and play music for people and then they listen to the music and are somehow healed, which I have done that. I've done that one time where I sat and played music for someone who was getting cranial sacral therapy and he couldn't sit and calm down enough to get cranial sacral therapy without music there. And so me coming in and playing the music that he needed for that day was very helpful in helping him get the treatment that he needed. And then the next common misunderstanding is that music therapy uses only one type of music. I hear all the time that people think I only use classical music, I only use Beethoven, I only use Mozart, all of that. But that is definitely not true. We use client preferred music. So I think I've actually used classical music like one time because the kid I was working with was really into classical music. But I've done everything from Baby Shark to, I don't know, any music. I've done rock music, I've done pop, I've done country, I've done music from the 1950s, I've done folk songs. It's just all the different types of music. All of them work as well as the other music. It's just client preferred music. That is the most important thing. I use recorded music, I use live music. It just depends on what the client prefers. I had one kid that I couldn't play recorded music, and then I had another kid where I couldn't sing. If I started singing, they would lose their minds, and I could only play recorded music. So it's definitely client driven, client preferred music, and it's client driven treatment plans. So we do an assessment to begin with, and then we write a treatment plan. We write out the goals that we're going to address. We write out how long we're going to do therapy each week. Generally, sessions are between 30 and 60 minutes. And then we write out the treatment plan, like how are we going to achieve our goals? And so each session, what it might look like is we do a hello song or a hello activity if appropriate, because sometimes clients are very resistant to the hello song or a hello activity, and it creates a lot of anxiety for them. And so if that's the case, then I'm not going to do that. But we typically start with a hello song, and then we do some interventions, and then we close with a goodbye song. Some of the interventions might include listening to music, writing music, improving on instruments, using GarageBand. We've done lyric analysis where we listen to a song and look at the lyrics and then talk about the lyrics. We've done like drumming and just all different things we've done with music. And sometimes we might write songs where we don't write a song from scratch, but we get like a fill in the blank type song, like a Mad Lib song, and do that. With the kids that I work with, we play a lot of games. We play a lot of musical games. And so that's what music therapy might look like. And then I just wanted to talk about some success stories that I've had. And music therapy, another common misconception is that it's going to be like the miracle cure or it's going to work overnight. And I just want, before I get into the success stories, I just want to tell you that is not the case most of the time. It's going to take work, it's going to take hard work. We're going to have to work on it for a while before you see success. And that's okay. That's what therapy is. I just don't want people to get the wrong idea. So, here are some success stories that I've had. I'm just going to give you one. I had a kid come to me and he said, I don't have a best friend and I want a best friend. I don't have any friends, and people at school have friends. He was 7 years old and he just did not understand social cues, social skills, all of that kind of thing. And so we worked on that using music. We worked on concrete thinking because he was very much, this is the way it is, and if it's not this way, then he just doesn't understand. And so we worked on improvising with instruments to different emotions. And at first, he wasn't able to do it. He wasn't able to play a drum in an angry way. He was like, drums don't have anger. And so then we worked on that. And eventually, he was able to understand the social skills, understand concrete thinking and flexible thinking. And he came to me a few months later and he's, I have a friend, I made a friend. And that was just one of the greatest moments that I've ever experienced. So if you have questions about music therapy, definitely let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. If you think your child might be right for it, but you have questions, schedule a consultation. Even if you don't live in Idaho, I would be happy to talk to you about it and find a music therapist in your area. And I hope you all have a great weekend and thank you for tuning in today.